next Saturday night, live TV taping, guys. If you guys want to come down and check out a live TV taping, come down to 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway. Reality of Wrestling is going down. MVP is going to be in the building. Sonny Ono, former WCW, manager extraordinaire. Is going to be making a.
Was he an NWO guy at one point?
I think
right?
I think he was in NWO for a minute.
Yeah,
for a brief minute. It
wasn't everybody except for you.
I was in NWO for a minute.
Oh, yeah, you were. You were in the NWO, but not in WCW.
In WWE.
In WWE.
Yeah, about a week.
Yeah,
didn't last very long at all. I got kicked out.
You literally got kicked out.
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels kicked you out of the NWO.
Yeah, I can't wait to run into him on the street. You know. I'm serious, man. I cannot wait to run into Shawn Michaels on the street.
You wanted your royalty check from the shirts.
Hey, man, I want some payback, man. Retribution is what I need from getting that super kick. I didn't deserve it.
You didn't? What did you do to get kicked out?
I didn't do anything. I just didn't want to be a part of the group. You know what I mean? That's all it was. I'm a loner. I'm one of those guys that ride solo all the time, man. We got a big show also coming up, guys, on the 27th. Actually, Fantasy Camp is going to be awesome. Going to be doing my thing. I've been doing this live Facebook deal on WrestleZone's site. It's been cool. WrestleZone. Big props to WrestleZone. I want to thank WrestleZone for putting reality of wrestling on the map. Bringing some notoriety to the company more than anything.
Yeah.
People actually getting a chance to see what reality of wrestling is all about. The stars of reality of wrestling before they become superstars is really, really cool. And I think that's what, that was my master plan 12 years ago, was to, create something that these young guys could, make their own. And now they're making it their own, and they're taking it around the country. They're going all around the world with it. I'm loving every bit of it.
And big shout out to WrestleZone, Nick Hausman, for reaching out and making this thing possible. I think that you're right. I remember years ago, there was an idea put out like, hey, what if we did a big super show where we brought in some names from the past to come on the card and, have this big show? And you're like, no, our stars are our stars, and we're going to sell out a building on our own on our own merit. And that's what we've actually done. I mean, it's accomplished. And I don't think there's another company on our level or even aside from WWE, who has grown their own stars and their own stars draw the shows. I mean, think about it. Every other company has guys coming in and out of it, coming in and out of it. Come do a spot here, spot here, spot here. We have our own roster.
Yeah,
it's there.
Cool. Yeah.
And it's been there for years. And of course they do other shows, but there are guys. They're branded Row guys.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. These guys, they go around the country. They're actually able to take the brand with them. Hey, man, I'm reality wrestling. I'm going to need at least a bill 50.
Plus trans.
Plus my trans, you know what I mean?
And if it's out of state, I need that hotel.
Most definitely, man. Like I said, big show going to be going down next week on the 13th. On Fantasy Camp on the 7th. On the 27th. I want to give away some tickets. What's the phone line?
We're going to give away some tickets.
Phone line's open. Let's give away some tickets.
That's 713-572-4610. 713-572-4610. All you got to do is call in right now, and you get tickets to next Saturday night, World Gym Arena, Reality Wrestling, January the 13th, 2018.
10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway. It's right out there in Texas City. Mall of the Mainland. You guys know about the Mall of the Mainland, right out there by the Greyhound Park.
When you get to Top Golf, keep driving.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I had some fun at Top Golf.
I was there.
Yeah, we had some fun.
Yeah, you had more fun than I.
Yeah, I did.
I think you had fun at my expense.
I did. You got to work on your game, man.
I got to work on my aim.
Yeah, that too. That's part of your game, isn't it? Work on it, man. Work on it. That's what this thing's
all.
Well,
what was great, though, is here I am. I'm focused. It's a little cold outside. It's misting. It's about 12 o'clock.
I like it like that.
It's about midnight, I haven't been out there since the last time you and I went out.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling okay about myself. And then I hit a couple balls. They're going to the left. And I look back. I thought Booker was going to be rolling on the ground. He was laughing so hard at my performance. And he said, you just got to get to 100. Just get to 100 points. I swear I was at like 78, right? I was at like 78. And you're like, all you got to do is hit one more shot.
Well, out of 20 balls, right?
Out of 20 balls.
That's bad.
And then it gets to the very last shot. And I hit it 220 yards all the way to the back, get 75 points, and I get over mine.
You got lucky. You got lucky there, man.
I did.
Everybody in life need a little luck. I think that's what life is all about. I always tell people all the time, my brother and I, we had talent, but being in the right place at the right time, man, we was lucky, to actually have a chance to meet Skandor Akbar, a legendary figure in the wrestling business. And he said, hey, man, I hope you guys get a chance to come and work for me sometime down in Dallas, Texas, the Global Wrestling Federation, and boom, a few months later, there we were. You know what I mean? And the next thing was, we're on our way to WCW.
You were on ESPN, though, right?
Yeah, ESPN Monday through Friday. That was really, really cool to actually have a chance to, write our own ticket more than anything. If you're talent, it's going to be all up to you whether you make it or not. And I said, with, having that ESPN television, worldwide television, I'm saying, somebody gonna see me. Somebody gonna see me.
Noticed.
Somebody gonna call me and hook me up. You know what I mean?
And lo and behold, it was Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious. You know what I mean? Sid Vicious has been very, very controversial lately. Here in the news.
Yeah.
He actually had an indie show. I don't know if you heard it, but that's the way these suckers work these days, guys. Make sure when you talking to somebody, man, you make the phone call or you figure out how you can do it because. I don't know what happened, but Sid Vicious was supposed to be doing an independent wrestling show. He called him up, told him he wasn't going to be able to make it due to the Trump ban. Yeah. And they called him, they're like, wait a minute, you're not going to be able to make the show? He's like, no, you know what I mean? This the whole thing with Trump is it's messing up my flight, my ID, with my license. They told me I couldn't catch the flight. And the guy is taping him the whole time and just getting, all kind of stupid, talk out of him, that just totally. And he said, but my buddy just went through this like a couple of weeks ago, man, and I don't know what it is, I'm going to have to call the airport. I'm like, come on, man, I don't think Trump.
You got to come up with a better one than that.
You got to come up with a better lie than that. You know what I mean? And you know what my thing is also, Sid Vicious is good, I wouldn't say we're great friends or anything like that.
But he looked out for you, and he gave you a good opportunity.
He did. He did. He gave me my break as far as, putting me on the map with WCW. Even gave my brother and I a place to stay. We stayed in his apartment in Atlanta for 3 months. He didn't owe us anything, and he put us up for 3 months just to, give us a chance to make it. And I appreciate Sid for that. But I tell you, like I say, very controversial. Very controversial as far as, some of the stuff been saying as of late. And that's the thing. I always talk about, this era compared to the last era compared to the era before that. We all going to always think, our era was the best.
It's the best one, of course.
But me personally, we're going to be talking about this on the show today. I believe in change, man. I believe in, if it's your era, you do it the way you should do it. You do it the way you want to make people remember it, 20 years from now, and I think sometime, you got to think about that road that you travel up is the same road that you're going to travel down. So you got to make sure you, like my mother always used to say, if you ain't got something good to say about somebody, Junior, you don't say nothing at all. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. In this day and age with social media, we got so many people out there, making so many inflammatory statements about so many people. I just think they should just, stay in their lane, do their thing, make their money, and go on and have a great life. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be about your family and taking care of them, like Kennedy Rose, Kendrick James. Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. Back in a minute.
Hey, if you know what's good.
Yeah. That's it, ain't it?
No, this is the new Justin Timberlake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. Got a good feel to it.
It's about that beat's about to drop right now, right, Ed? You ready for it?
Yeah, it is. Is it? Wait for it. Okay. Yeah. Welcome back to Heated Conversations right here on Sports Radio 610. This is new Justin Timberlake.
New Justin Timberlake.
New Justin
It's called
Timberlake.
Filthy.
Filthy. Yeah, I heard we got some new Bruno Mars also.
Bruno and Cardi B.
Cardi
might
B.
need to come back with that
Cardi
one next.
B is the reality show girl, right?
She was on Love and Hip Hop.
They threw her in the studio.
She started off as a dancer.
Exactly. A stripper, right?
Stripper.
Yeah, let's get it right. I mean,
Well,
don't just say dancer because people could be thinking ballet.
She's a ballet dancer, yes. Cardi B seems
trust
like
me,
the ballet
I don't
type.
think
She a
it's
dirty ballet dancer.
Yeah, hey man, they got the pole lessons,
But she was a stripper. Then she got on Love and Hip Hop.
Love and Hip Hop.
And then she became, an MC, a rapper.
Yeah.
And she had that Bodak Yellow song, which was pretty big.
Man, these shows getting crazy, man.
Yeah.
All these Trick Daddy, he on one now.
Trick Daddy's on a show?
Trick Daddy is on one called Wags.
Wags,
Wags Atlanta.
That's the one I was telling you about the other night.
Yeah.
That Deontay Wilder and Cody Rhodes are on.
Trick Daddy is on there too.
Oh man, Trick Daddy.
Daddy's back.
That is one of the most interesting casts I've ever heard.
Cody Rhodes and his wife. People are losing their damn
And
minds.
Trick Daddy.
Yeah, Trick Daddy. Trick love the kids.
I'm sure he does.
No, I'm serious, man.
How many kids does Trick Daddy have?
I don't know, man, but I'm gonna tell you,
half dozen or
Trick
more?
Daddy was one of those rappers, man, where he didn't get a lot of talk about him or a lot of play or anything, but the brother was solid. All the stuff all of his music.
Now he's out of Miami, right?
He got
Miami.
He got that Miami sound.
Yeah.
And I tell you, all of his stuff that he's come out with, man, it was all good. I love Trick Daddy. I'm serious, man. It's
You
great.
like Trick Daddy, Ed?
He was all right.
We got a caller on the line that won some tickets, right?
I think they already won the tickets.
Yeah, he
They
won the
They
ticket,
won them. We
yeah.
got him out of here. What was his name?
His name was Buddy Stewart.
Buddy Stewart.
Buddy Stewart.
Hey, buddy, man, make sure you come out. Check that show out next week. We're going to make sure we leave those tickets for you at Wheel Call. They'll be under your name. Make sure you have your ID with you. And, hey, man, enjoy the show, man. Hey, speaking of shows, we got a show that's going to be coming on tomorrow. Christmas Chaos. It's the final show, Christmas Chaos, live on FITE TV,
It's the
exclusively on FITE TV.
Can't get it on YouTube. You can't stream this
You're
on.
not going to be able to download this. And
This isn't on Netflix.
No, you can't pirate this.
This isn't a podcast.
Nothing. You know
This
what
is
I mean?
exclusive.
Hey, check it out.
FITE TV.
I tell you, no doubt, guys. Listen, Reality of Wrestling. Download the FITE TV app, guys, because this is our best, stuff for the year. I really believe that. I think the guys went out and delivered in every aspect. All titles on the line. Lucha Extrema match, guys. If you've never seen a Lucha Extrema match, and you probably haven't because we created it.
I think there's only been 3.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to tell you, Gino, Aiden Cristiano, the lovely Reina will play a part in that as well. Main event. You do not want to miss Lucha Extrema. These are Reality of Wrestling, 2 of Reality of Wrestling's top guns. And they went out and performed at the utmost, the highest level. I really think you can perform on at a, independent level. Give it up for Gino and Cristiano, Lucha Extrema, tomorrow night. You don't want to miss it. Actually, tomorrow afternoon. Streaming at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock Central.
Download the
FITE TV
Download
app.
the FITE TV app right now, guys. Yeah.
But we have to put it in perspective. So this is for the Reality Wrestling Championship.
Yeah.
Aiden Cristiano, the champion, but Gino's career is on the line. So if Gino loses, he's done with Reality of Wrestling.
Gino loses, he leaves Reality of Wrestling, and I tell you, it's sad. It's a sad thing, but you got to tune in to see it.
You got to see what's going to happen.
One of those things. Download the FITE TV app right now, guys. Do it now. I do it for you.
And the other 2 big matches, we have the Reality Wrestling Television Championship match. Cameron Cole, the newly crowned champion,
Cam Cole
is going to defend against Abel Andrew Jackson, who by hook or by crook, found himself at the top of the television rankings, television championship rankings, number 1. And he's a Stevie Ray guy. And like he said, he wants to go straight to the top.
I like Abel, man. Abel's been with me now since day one. He's a trooper. He's definitely a soldier in the war of creating something special with Reality of Wrestling. He's been one of those guys that has played his role, and I always say that, guys, play your role. Don't do no more than that. Just play your role, and it might work out for you. That's the thing. And right now, Abel is in the biggest position that he's been in Reality.
He's got an opportunity to become a champion for the first time
in quite some time.
Yeah,
the first PWA champion
was
Abel.
Yeah,
was Abel Andrew Jackson.
But get this, Abel Andrew Jackson, as long as the Reality Wrestling rebrand has been around, I mean, even in the 5.5 years that I've been at Reality Wrestling, he has never held a championship, ever.
Yeah.
The highest position he was a co-general manager for a short period of time of like 6 weeks.
That's what it's about, though, man. Buy your time. I always say, sometimes you got to win by attrition. You got guys that higher up on the card, the pecking order, they're a little bit higher up than you are, and then you just sit back. You just wait your turn. They're going to get hurt. Something's going to happen. They're going to slip on a banana peel. They're going to blow out a knee or something. If you could just stay healthy like Abel has done for, all these years. He stayed healthy. I don't think Abel has missed a year from competition.
I don't think he's been injured at all, ever.
So that right there tells me a whole lot. It's like the Miz. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
Miz is one of those guys, 10 years running, and hadn't been on the shelf at all.
I don't even know if he's needed a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
But, the other match, real quick, that's on that FITE TV special is the triple threat match for the Reality Wrestling Texas Championship.
Yeah.
Mysterious Q, the new champion, defends against not only Rex Andrews, but Johnny Impact. And for the night,
Johnny Mundo.
Johnny Rowe.
Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact.
John Morrison.
Johnny Rowe, Johnny Morrison.
Johnny Nitro. Johnny Spade.
Johnny Spade. Whatever you want to call him. He's going to be on the show tomorrow, guys, making his Reality of Wrestling debut.
Yeah, first time.
Exact first time in Reality of Wrestling, but he's a guy that I school. He's a guy that sat under the learning tree of Booker T, and still this many years later, he's still in the game, still going strong. But to be able to compete with two of Reality of Wrestling's finest, I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a rub, for my guys, in a certain way. But to be able to go out there and show a guy like a John Morrison, hey, it might be a rub, but I'm just as good as you are, man. I can compete with the best, so that's really, truly what it's all about. Guys, we got a whole lot for you on the show today. Like I said, MVP Montel Vontavious Porter, former WWE superstar, is going to be calling in today. And we're going to be talking about this testicator, the stuff that can get the squirrels out my roof. Testicator, right?
I think it's Pesticator or Testicator. Which one was it?
Testicator?
Pesticator.
Pesticator.
Okay. Pesticator. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I need some. Back in a minute. Heated conversation.
Drop top Porsche, rollie on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain. Cardi B straight stunning, can't tell me nothing. Bossed up and I changed the game. It's my big bronze boogie, got all them girls shook. My big fat ass got all them boys cooked. Went from dollar bills, now we popping rubber bands. Bruno sang to me while I do my money dance. Like, hey, flexing on the gram like, hey, hit that Lil Jon, okay.
Yeah, all right. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 16. Let me tell you something. That's Cardi B, right?
That was Cardi B.
Let me tell you something. I like Cardi B.
Me too.
You know what I mean? You know why? Because she don't sound like nothing special. She's just regular. She's just out there doing her thing.
She's just rhyming and stealing.
Yeah, she ain't trying to change her voice up and, be something she's not. I like her, man. That sound right there, it reminds me of something, Queen Latifah. You know what I mean?
It's very 90s.
Yeah,
you
man.
see the video.
It's very 90s,
tight.
dog.
The video is dope.
I mean, do you guys feel the same thing?
I feel the way. What about
serious.
you?
It got like a living color feel to it.
Yeah, I'm serious, man.
Yeah.
So I can dig that right there. That takes me back a little bit, man. I mean, because
And she's got a good flow. Like her flow's nice.
Hey, give it up for Cardi B. Sometimes, man, you gotta, use what you got to get what you want.
Hey.
That's what Cardi's doing. You know what I mean? She's used every asset, if you understand what I'm saying. But
she's great. I really like her.
It's the American way, right?
The American way. She's dating one of the Migos.
Migos.
You know the Migos? Are you a fan of the Migos book?
I never heard of the Migos.
You never heard of the Migos?
I'm a little. It ain't that Japanese group, is it?
No, it's not.
that was
BTS. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Did you see those guys?
I saw them.
I
wasn't sure if they were guys for a second.
We're talking about the guys at the New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Yeah, they're
right?
BTS is
the
their name.
BTS. I don't know if you guys out there that's listening to the show have ever seen the BTS, but everything's changing. Everything. You know what I mean? Because these guys, I'm like, what am I was in shock. I'm sitting here and the people in the audience, everybody knew the words.
They knew
to
all
the
the
song.
words, and they were jamming.
And they was screaming and hollering like the Jackson 5 was on stage.
Yeah.
And I lost my mind, man. Charmel actually had to get me a cup of tea just so
to
I
relax.
so I could just come back down to earth because I was totally in shock.
Yeah, I mean, they were more Milli Vanilli than they were Jackson 5 because they weren't singing a single lick up there. And I'm like, and I've heard these guys in interviews, and no disrespect to them, but they don't really speak a lick of English.
No, but let me tell you something. A lot of guys like from England, You know what I mean? They can, they don't sound like they can, speak English at all over, perfect English. But then when they sing, boom, it comes out totally perfect.
Yeah, but at least that's English still over there. They might not have an accent,
but
sing.
they have a huge accent. Those guys, when they come in, they see, a lot of them sing R&B, and they have no accent at all.
No, I know, like the Sam Smiths
exactly.
of the world, or whomever, or Adele.
This new guy that's running around. I can't remember. Ed Sheeran.
Oh, Ed Sheeran, yeah. Ed Sheeran's dope.
Yeah.
I like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, he don't sound like he's from another country or anything like that. But when he flows, you say, "What, man, this guy's good." Then when you hear him talking, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, that's what sometimes it gets me about actors, right? Like I didn't know Hugh Jackman was Australian for the longest time because you see him as Wolverine, and he sounds like a super American guy. Yeah. And then you see him in an interview, and he's got this thick Australian accent, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?"
The Japanese guy Otami, WWE.
Oh yeah, Hideo Otami.
You talk to him. How you doing?
He's got a deep voice.
I swear. I'm like, wait a minute. What did I hear an echo? You know what I mean? Because I spoke to him. How you doing?
Why you got a deeper voice than me?
Exactly.
This is concerning.
Oh, man. That's crazy, man.
Want to remind everyone out there, though, if you want another pair of tickets to Reality Wrestling, we're still giving them away. 713-572-4610. That's 713-572-4610.
Yeah, but guys, come check out my fantasy camp also going down January 27th. If you haven't signed up for fantasy camp, it's one of those things. If you ever wondered what it's like to be a professional wrestler, or just want to get in the ring and bounce around a little bit, maybe want to just try to get in shape a little bit, come out, check out my fantasy camp going down January 27th, as well as, guys, huge thing going down in February 17th. Tickets on sale right now. Ladies' Night Out, all women's invitational going down at the World Gym Arena. And I'm going to tell you, man, the tickets going really, really good for that thing already.
Yeah, they're selling. I mean, this is the best time ever for women's wrestling in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think that it's cool that Reality Wrestling is getting to do something for the women out there. And you're going to have people like Kylie Ray on the show. We're going to see Kiera Hogan come to the World Gym Arena. Barbie Hayden. So many other people.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Even some special guest commentators, some special guests.
Shaw Guerrero, the daughter of Eddie and Vicky Guerrero, is going to be doing some commentating, as well as she's going to be doing some backstage interviews and whatnot, as well as she's going to be doing an autograph signing before the show. Also, guys, you want to come out and get a shot with Shaw Guerrero, the daughter of legendary Vicky and Eddie Guerrero.
That's a Texas wrestling legendary family.
That is right there. Guys, come on out. That's going to be February 17th. Go to realityofwrestling.com and get all your information on that right there. Hey, what Eddie? Did he step out?
He might have stepped out.
I was wondering, man, was that a exterminator that called in about
I don't know who it was.
Pesticator, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to, make sure space everything Pesticator.
You got to go ask at the
exactly
Ace Hardware. Or
exactly, you know what I mean. I got to go make sure I find
Home Depot.
Hey, was that a exterminator?
No, he was just a customer.
Well, how he know?
He said he used it. He said he had the same problem.
Oh yeah. Did he say it? Just get rid of him, or did it kill him? Because I don't want to kill him or anything like that. Just you don't know. I mean. All right. Well, I tell you what, we got to get some of the Pesticator, because I'm gonna tell Charmel right now, go get some. If you're listening, baby, run down to the hardware store and get us some Pesticator right now. We got to get rid of those squirrels. The text line is up.
Text line is up. Somebody corrected me. I'm sorry. His name is Gus and Katie. Gus corrected me and said Wolverine's from Canada, not from America.
Yeah, he is from Canada.
And that's right. That? No, I knew that. I just misspoke.
Yeah.
Well, Hugh Jackman's from Australia, but the character Wolverine is from Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kendrick would have called me out on that one.
Kendrick told me that one day. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, my son Kendrick, he knows what Wolverine and every other superhero.
But, speaking of origins and stuff, you talked about Shaw Guerrero being from Texas. I just wanted to touch on this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Does Texas have the greatest? I mean, are we the greatest state for professional wrestling ever? When you think about all the names, just think about it. Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Dusty Rhodes, Terry Funk. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
There's a lot of Texas. Texas wrestling is huge. But
Devon Eriks.
But Carolinas, Minnesota.
I know, but is there anyone better than Texas?
Well,
Think about all the names I just mentioned.
It's a lot
it's
of
all the top guys in the history of the business.
A lot of great names, but wrestling here is it's been big for years. I mean, the Von Erichs, Houston Wrestling, Paul Bosch, the UWF, you know what I mean, all that. Wrestling's always been big here. I mean, to get in this business, a lot of guys had to come through Texas, meaning point in case the Sportatorium, Dallas, Texas. I always say, man, if when that building was up, if the walls could talk, as far as all the stars that came through that building that went on to become huge superstars, man, it's crazy. All the guys that came through, man, it was nuts. And me personally, I was just privileged, honored to be a part of going in there and catering the same building as Von Erich, Kerry, Kevin, Mike, Fritz. You know what I mean? It was awesome, and then to become one of Dallas' favorite sons, it was huge. It was huge for me, man.
I just think that it's just pretty cool. I mean, all the great wrestlers who've come out of the state of Texas, it's insane. And then now we're training the next crop of them at the Reality Wrestling, the flagship of Texas wrestling.
That's what it's all about more than anything. We got a couple of guys that's going to be making a trip here coming up. Kylie Ray, she's going to be going to Japan. My boy Ryan Davison got to try with Ring of Honor wrestling, and that's the thing. If these guys could get to the next level, story just came out on one of our girls that made it, Athena, Ember Moon. WWE just put out, and for me, it's like seeing one of my kids make it to the next level, because that's my dream, is for these young guys to have that same opportunity that I had, to get a chance to go around the world, because that right there was an education in itself, just being able to see different parts of the world. My first trip going to Japan and seeing how the people live there, not seeing any homelessness on the street. In 1991, no homelessness on the street in Japan the whole time I was there, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. How people, so many people lived on that island, but everything was in uniform, even to the point to where they hang their laundry out on the balcony the exact same way. Every family has got to be in uniform, and I was like, wow, you know what I mean? That right there was education. Now to see my guys get a chance to go around the world and do their thing, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. When Athena won the championship, I couldn't even stick around and watch it.
Here in Houston, by the way.
Yeah, man. I couldn't even stick. I stuck around and watched it, and I snuck out the back door, man, because I was like, man, I didn't want her to see me all choked up or anything like that, so I got up out of there.
Well, it was just awesome to hear the story, too, of, her parents kind of laughed in her face. Which is no fault on them. I'm sure when you're like, I want to be a pro wrestler.
I mean, our parents came to me and they talked to me, and I remember telling them, I don't sell no dreams. Hey, I can't guarantee nothing.
Yeah.
But that what she was. That was Athena all about. I mean, she was about going out there, putting herself out there, and making it, on her own talent, or failing. That's the only thing you can actually do in this business, is go out there and give 100%. And that's what Athena did, and that's why she's now NXT champion.
Well, I remember when she came to Reality Wrestling, it was like July, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, to do she did a show, and then the next show was going to be our Summer of Champions show, our second one ever, right? And in between July and August, she went and did a tryout, got signed, and I think her last date on the indies or the independent scene was Summer of Champions 2, and then she went straight to Florida.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
It's a Cinderella story.
It really is.
Just
start here and end here.
You know what got me in the story, the part that I didn't know, was the first time she tried out, she didn't make it, and she got that letter in the mail, and it said that you are not diva material.
Yeah, you don't have the appearance of the diva or whatever it said.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that had to be crushing to get a letter like that. That's something right there. It could either make you or it could break you. And I tell you, for Athena, it definitely seemed like it kicked her in another mode to say, "Oh, wait a minute." But the change of wrestling, the divas, finally, that term, went away. Now it's all about the women going out there and performing at the highest level. Best athlete, get the reward. It's all about your merit now, going out there performing at the highest level, and that's why Athena is at that level, guys. Stick around, y'all. Hear the conversation. Back in a minute.
And the winner is Trick Diesel, Face Mall, baby.
Yeah.
Gangsta.
Welcome back to Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610, y'all.
This is your guy right here, Book.
You can hear that in his voice, right? Yeah, that's him. Trick Daddy, y'all. I know you had, Eddie, you had to look hard to find something that was clean Trick do, right?
Yeah, it was kind of hard, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Because if you notice, he ain't saying nothing.
You know what was crazy? I was driving the other day and I was listening to the radio and they were playing NWA on there.
Yeah.
And they played Straight Outta Compton, the greatest song, one of the greatest songs of all time. But what's funny is, I guess they did this back in the 90s. There was a radio version that wasn't all cut up.
Yeah.
It was Ice Cube, but it was him saying different things.
Yeah.
He was like, from the Stupid Dope Gang with an Attitude.
Yeah.
You know, or Silly Mother Cluckers. You remember that?
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, what is, and it actually makes the song terrible. It made it awful. I'm like, Cluckhead? What's a Cluckhead?
That's the one right there. Trick loved them kids, man. Now tell me that don't sound good. Huh?
I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Collard green neck bone.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what you need to do, Booker? You need to host a mixtape.
Yeah. I'll just do the background, huh?
Yeah.
All I do. Oh. Yeah. Uh-huh. You know
Have you ever
what I
heard the
mean?
mixtape where the DJ's
Yeah.
talking all over the record? That's what I want. Eddie, we should put a playlist together.
We should.
And we
I
should
think
let
so.
Booker do a mixtape.
That
Heated
right there,
Conversations
man.
mixtape.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, man, that's music right there, man. Trick love the kid. Hey, man, we got some MMA talk we got to get to,
Yes.
man. We went down last week. MMA was off the chains last week, and we had a caller that called in, and him and we got into a debate about the Khabib Nurmagomedov fight against Edson Barboza, and he was a huge Edson Barboza fan, and he was like, man, Edson Barboza, man, I don't know, man, I think, and I told him, I say, look, man, go back and do your homework on Edson Barboza. All the fights that Edson lost, it was all against pressure fighters, all against guys that was coming forward, guys that wasn't gonna give him a chance to throw that kick, that leg kick too long, or throw a spinning kick or something dynamic. You wasn't gonna see it with a guy like Khabib. And I tell you, I don't know if you watched that fight, but I tell you, Khabib Nurmagomedov's pressure in that fight was totally insane. It was totally over the top. He didn't mind taking a shot or anything like that. He just wanted to get his hands on Edson Barboza and beat him to the point to where Edson say, please just don't beat me anymore. And I tell you, it went exactly, I'm talking about not a roundabout, exactly the way I called it.
No, you mean this is one of those Booker T specials where you saw it coming from a mile away. But Khabib Nurmagomedov was so dominant in there. I mean, he won by unanimous decision. And then here's the thing: Khabib obviously isn't known to be a talker.
No,
right?
no, he's not talking.
But I don't know if you saw the post-fight interviews or post-fight press conference.
Actually, I watched it on. I didn't watch the pay-per-view. I watched it on YouTube actually, so I didn't see the post.
He was talking so much smack, and I was like, Khabib might be a star here.
He might be the guy.
He might come through. He was talking about Conor. He was talking about Tony. It was phenomenal. I mean, he was just like, what's Gunnar gonna do when I wrestle him? What are you gonna do? Boxing, okay. What are you gonna do when I wrestle him? And I'm like, that's a great point.
No, I mean, we've all seen Conor McGregor at his weakest point.
When he goes to the ground, it's not the greatest thing for him.
We saw him get tapped out with Nate Diaz. Like I say, that's the old lady that called it in here. She said Conor McGregor, standing up, he can go, and that's true. But when Conor McGregor get on his back, you could see it in his eyes that it's not a comfortable place. He's definitely out of his element, and that's what you want to get Conor McGregor. You want to, it's almost like Anderson Silva. Same thing. When Anderson was on his back, even though him being a great jiu-jitsu tactician, he still seemed like he was uncomfortable.
He
on his
liked
back.
being up. He liked being up. He liked throwing those kicks.
Yeah. So I tell you, Khabib is a bona fide star in the UFC. I say push him, man. Push him to the moon.
So would you
give him a big fight? Give him that big fight.
Do you want him to see him and Conor, or do you want to see him and Tony? What do you think's next for Khabib?
You know,
I think him and Tony would be a great fight.
You know,
because Tony's the interim champ right now, isn't
he? He is the champion right now. I don't think that fight. We're ready for that fight just yet. I don't think we're ready to see, because me personally, I wouldn't want to see Tony Ferguson's career, just derailed. Or I don't want to see Khabib's career derailed at this point in time. That's the problem that we have in the UFC. You know, just because you got two guys that are good, throw them together, let them go out there and mess their record up. Let them go out there and get beat. Let their stock go down to the point to where they're out there not able to feed their families and take care of themselves because they're so beat up. Look at Robbie Lawler. I mean, him coming back, you thought Robbie Lawler would come back in, perfect prime shape. But, when you come back and, you've been through wars and you had to fight all the top guys, it diminishes your skill set. It really does.
I think that was illustrated with Carlos Condit.
Carlos Condit, Rory McDonald. The list goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? So I would not want to see, me personally, a Khabib-Tony Ferguson fight right now. I would love to see a Khabib-Conor, or I would love to see a Tony Ferguson-Conor McGregor, because I do think Conor McGregor is, sitting back, resting on his laurels.
Yeah.
I think all the money that he's made over the past year is, definitely can make you a much softer fighter. I don't think.
Do you think he's still got, Conor, though, is still, 4 years ago, he was like a broke Irish dude, right? And now he's got all the money in the world. But do you think he still has that hunger in his belly?
You know what, man? When you become rich, you start eating steak and lobster. You understand what I'm saying? You start, popping bottles. You feel me? You start running around, buying up stuff, and living lavish and really living, life. And I mean, personally, I can understand that, being a brother from the hood. You know what I mean? You get some money in your pocket, you can lose your mind. So therefore, I do truly, honestly believe Conor McGregor is, when he does come back, he will not be the same fighter in the UFC, because, and I say it all the time, it's because of the competition is only going to get stiffer for Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor can't go back and fight all the guys that he's fought before. He got to fight different guys now. He got to fight the Tony Ferguson. He's got to fight the Khabib Nurmagomedov. He can't call out an Edson Barbosa now.
Yeah, because Edson, why not? Why would he even?
Exactly. So the only fights out there for Conor McGregor is those super tough fights, like a Khabib that, hey, man, he ain't going to wrestle with Conor. I mean, he's not going to stand up with Conor very long. He's going to wrestle him to the ground. He's going to try to make him tap, submit him. And therefore, Conor McGregor's stock go down. Same thing with a Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is a fighter that has, his gear is stuck in drive. He's moving forward all the time. I don't care if he just got to roll into something and try to get close to you. That's what kind of fighter Tony Ferguson is.
But see, that's why I think
you could beat on him all day.
But that's why I think Conor, if I'm coming back and I'm Conor McGregor, I think Tony Ferguson, and I think people might think I'm crazy for this, is the better fight for Conor. I think Conor has a better chance KOing Tony Ferguson than he does Khabib Nurmagomedov.
You know what, man? I don't know, man. Think about Tony Ferguson.
Because Conor's just going to wait. Conor's going to wait. Let him come in. I'm going to catch you with that left.
Go back and do your history.
That's what he did with Jose Aldo.
Go back and do your history. Tony Ferguson, dude, he does nothing but move forward. He's seek and destroy. He's a pressure fighter. He's a guy that's got highly endurance. You know what I mean? I mean, he can go all night long. And the thing is, it's going to be a war of attrition. With a fighter like a Tony Ferguson. It's going to be one of those fights where, man, you're going to have to win by any means necessary, because you're going to be in there for a long haul. And the thing is, what does, if it's a 5-round fight, Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor, in the third round, the fourth round should show up. Conor McGregor's not going to be the same fighter. Trust me.
Well, he's going to start walking away a little bit. We saw that in the Nate Diaz fight when they went 5 rounds. He started walking away from him. He didn't want anything to do with him in those later rounds.
What do you think? What do you think Tony Ferguson does with Nate Diaz?
What do you think he does with Nate Diaz?
Yeah.
Do I think when you asking me, would he beat him?
Yeah.
I think he beat. I think he beat.
I think he beat Nate Diaz convincingly.
Yeah, I think he beat Nate
on
Diaz.
pressure alone, and that's why I feel like a Conor McGregor and a Tony Ferguson. I don't. You know what? You know, I might be going out on a limb, but I don't think we're ever going to see Conor McGregor ever again. Stick around, y'all. Heated conversation. Back. Welcome back to Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610. Turning the corner right now, going into the second hour. It's 2 o'clock right now in the H. Feeling good right now. It's old school right here. It's old school day here on the show.
You know that's unheard of.
Yeah. Got my man MVP coming up here soon on the show here. Probably in the next 15 minutes or so, we'll get MVP on the line and see exactly what he's up to these days. What's going on?
Have you seen Coolio lately?
No. Why would I see Coolio lately?
Coolio
what is he
looks
doing?
so crazy lately.
He still got the hair?
Well, that's the funny part. So he's, some men suffer from it, male pattern baldness, and you can tell he has the receding hairline, so he wears a bucket hat now, and he cuts off part of the top of the bucket hat, and his remaining little braid dread things, he sticks them out of the top of the hat. I got to show you.
Hey, man, come on. You gotta try to stay young, man, these days, man. You got to keep your youth, man. I ain't going to blame Coolio for trying to keep his game. And he got a hat collection. He's selling the hats too, right? Is he selling the hats?
I don't know if he's selling the hats.
How do you know he got a receding hairline? How do you know he's got balding issues?
Because nobody would do that if he still had his hair.
That's not true, man. That's not true at all. The brother might be just trying to, sell the hats. He got a bunch of hats right there. He's got them on sale. Come on.
No, man.
Entrepreneurial spirit is what that is.
Coolio's hair is receding. There's no look. That's how I know his hair is receding.
Oh, that is bad.
Do you see this?
Oh, God.
Do you see that?
That's old school, man. That's old school. Brother is. It's a shame getting old, man. You gotta this heated conversation. Hey guys, we talking some him. Take that off. I don't even. That's superimposed. That's not even him,
that's
man.
Real.
That's not real.
That's
man.
real.
Come on, man. That's not real.
Though, why there's several shots of him like that?
Wow.
This is what he looked like. I mean, he used to have some nice hair.
The thing is, man, we all gonna get older, man. We all gonna get older. We're gonna be talking about that here in a little bit. As far as one of the guys that's been in the business a long time is myself, and I've seen a whole lot as far as guys being just like, say, for instance, Johnny B. Bad. I saw Johnny B. Bad, a photo of him.
This is Mark Merrow, right?
Yeah, Mark Merrow.
Yeah.
I just saw a photo of him. He looked totally different. You know what I mean? We're all gonna get older, guys. It's the way we handle it is what's most important. Because that midlife crisis thing is true. It's real. And if you don't know how to handle it, if you don't know how to approach that situation, man, you could be in a world of hurts. You know what I mean? I talked about it earlier. We travel, down that same road that we travel up. So as long as you are a good person, you'll make it. You'll be all right. We're going to talk about that. Hey, man, some John Jones news. Been going down. You was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I saw the guy who is, I guess, the liaison or in charge of the USADA for the UFC. He was talking on Joe Rogan's podcast about a variety of issues, one of which was John Jones, and about the potential and possibility of John Jones's sanction not being as harsh as was initially reported. Currently, for a second-time offender like John Jones is in the USADA program, it carries a minimum sanction of 5 years to almost a maximum of 10 years. You could be suspended from competition.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's a life sentence.
Yeah, I mean, a minimum of 5 years.
Yeah.
A minimum of 5.
5 years in MMA, that's a life sentence.
5 years is, yeah. I mean,
for a guy like
we saw GSP come back after 4, but still, I mean, and you saw he's like, oh, I'm one fight, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
So,
because it hurts.
Yeah, but they're trying to prove right now with John Jones, the case that's being made, according to this guy, is on the Rogan podcast, and you can find it on YouTube, he said that they're making the case that John Jones did ingest this substance. And John Jones is saying, I didn't know that the substance I was ingesting, and I did not do it to cheat the game and gain an unfair advantage in my fight against Daniel Cormier. If they can prove that, John Jones could be let off the hook with a much reduced sanction, maybe even a year, maybe less, if they can prove this fact. And it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job of doing that. Now, to remind people, John Jones was suspended before UFC 200 in a fight against Daniel Cormier for using estrogen blockers, which he said he took unknowingly by ingesting a male enhancement pill that he got out of a gas station.
Now, the first excuse was a little suspect. Let's just say that. Let's get that out of the way. A man in his
20s using a male enhancement pill from a gas station.
Come on now. That's not something that's uncommon. You know, these young guys want to go out there. They want to try to, take these women out there. You know, maybe he's having impotency problems early in his life.
He could.
You never know.
He could be. But here's my thing. Why go to the one at the gas station? You know what I'm talking about. The ones say like Rhino XL and stuff like that.
Maybe he was, had a hot date. You know what I mean? Maybe he was
with his wife. Or is he married? Isn't he married? I think he's married.
I don't know. But what I do know is I can't see John Jones. I mean, talking about this second offense. John Jones and the Daniel Cormier fiasco.
Tyrannobol is what he's been, I believe it's what it's called, or Turnabol, something like that.
Yeah, and I've heard of it. It's in a lot of these supplements over the counter that they sell at GNC on a daily basis. I might have some Tyrannobol in my system right now, honestly. You know what I mean? Because, I take, the nutrigenics, what I mean? Big Hurt, say, hey, man, this might help you with you, in the bedroom. You know what I mean? It might, in the ladies even like it. You know what I mean? Big Hurt. Frank Thomas, that's what he said. So I take it. It might have some Tyrannobol in it. So just say if I got tested right now, it might show up. Thing is, I cannot believe, John Jones, he's a relatively intelligent guy. He's no dummy or anything like that. He comes from a good family. First and foremost, that's what you look at first, is family values in a person like that. My thing is this. I cannot think that John Jones was stupid enough to go and take a, enhancer such as a testosterone, a Combuterol, or a Winstrol, or something like that, that level, to try to enhance his performance from a steroid perspective. Now, this Tyrannobol, is that a steroid or is it just an enhancer?
I do believe it is an anabolic steroid.
Okay.
I'm reading about it right now, and it's Nowitzki is the guy's name, Jeff Nowitzki, who's the guy who's in charge of the UFC stuff for USADA.
Okay, is this Tyrannobol not in other substances?
It can be. It can be. Tyrannobol can be, it sounds like, in other substances, and you can ingest it in your body without knowing it.
Like a Coca-Cola or something.
Yeah. They used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
So, you never know what's the ingredients, what's the secret sauce.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm talking about. So this could easily have been a mistake made by John Jones, because me personally, I could not see this man coming back, finally getting his title shot, and knowing that USADA is looking at him, and he go out there and do something as stupid as take an enhancer that they're looking for. I mean, he knows that they're going to be looking at him. He knows they're going to be testing.
And this is what Nowitzki said. On the surface of things, at this point in the game, with that type of information out there, it wouldn't indicate intentional use. That could be wrong. I don't know that definitively, and we'll see how this plays out. So it sounds like he's in his corner. Nowitzki from the USADA program, UFC USADA program, sounds like he's believing John Jones saying, I would never do steroids. I would never take steroids.
Okay, but it's still the result is still the same. He's not the light heavyweight champion.
He's not the light heavyweight champion.
And that can't be reversed or anything like that.
I don't believe. But I think at the best case, we could see John Jones in 2019 or maybe even late 2018, depending on what they do.
The thing is, what kind of how would you feel about John Jones coming back? I mean,
I wouldn't want to see it.
Is it going to be the same feeling? Is it going to be the same feeling? John Jones is back. I mean, he's finally coming back to reclaim the throne. You know what I mean? Him and DC one more time. DC John, because you remember, DC, he was crying He had tears, but he said, what are you going to do about the trilogy? You know what I mean? What about the trilogy, DC? And he said that it is no trilogy if you lose. You know, it's no trilogy. I don't know. You know, so there's no.
He seemed pretty pitiful.
So now there's a chance for a trilogy.
There could be. I mean, at least it's not off the table. But if John Jones were to come back to the UFC, I would have no interest in seeing him fight.
Why not?
I would have zero interest because
I mean, the thing
no,
is,
because here's the thing. There's been so much, and we talked about John Jones before.
Wait a minute. It was a mistake.
Okay, how many mistakes?
It was a mistake that he made. He
remember the first DC fight? What happened? Oh, I was on cocaine. I'm sorry, I didn't know. You know, that didn't give me any advantage. But, you know, there was cocaine in my system. Then, UFC 200, well, I took a male sex pill.
Didn't you just say a second ago that Coca-Cola had cocaine in it?
It did. I don't think he had a Coca-Cola from 1945.
Maybe.
Maybe he did. But who knows? But what I'm saying is there's always excuses. I remember they canceled an entire show one time because John Jones couldn't show up. So there are a lot of things, and it's just, to me, it's like Tiger. When I see Tiger out there, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, it's Tiger Woods, man.
Tiger's back.
Tiger's back. But it doesn't have the feeling, right? It doesn't have the same feeling. And honestly, as much as I love Michael Jordan, I'm not saying from any controversy, but when he came back in the early 2000s, it's like, yeah, there's Mike, but it's not Mike.
Come on, man. Come on. It shouldn't be that way, man. Come on.
But my thing with John Jones is how many times? How many times?
I feel like John Jones should have, you know, I think we should give John Jones at least.
He can fight again, and I think a lot of people would like to see it. I'm just saying, for me, I have no interest in John Jones because in the back of my mind, I'm going to think, well, what's going to come up hot this time?
Tell me this here. You telling me if Tiger Woods start winning majors again, you ain't gonna jump on the bandwagon. You ain't gonna be
absolutely not.
You're not gonna be excited again about golf or anything. You're telling me that?
Absolutely not.
You're telling me if Michael Jordan came back right now, you know,
Mike, I'd be excited for.
Took the Bulls to the championship, you wouldn't be excited about
Mike,
that.
I'd be excited for.
Have you ever seen Mr. 3000?
Yes, Bernie Mac.
Exactly.
One great movie.
One of the greatest movies. You can't tell me everybody wasn't excited.
Stan Ross was back?
That Stan Ross.
He's the boss.
He's the boss. You know what I mean? You can't tell me people weren't happy to see Big Stan Ross.
But I don't think Stan Ross got popped for steroids like 8 times.
Hey, come on. They hated him. He wasn't a nice guy.
He wasn't a nice guy.
People didn't like Stan Ross, the early Stan Ross. But when he came back, you know what I mean, his stats said a whole lot, you know, even when people didn't like him. You know, and so when he came back and those stats still were there, and then the people, you know, come on, man. You can't tell me if John Jones came back right now, DC, won the title, then call out the top dog out there, you know what I mean, to prove that, hey, I'm back on the throne. Give me anybody. You know what I mean? I
just think that in the back of my mind, I'd be like, well, what is he going to test hot for?
Give me Gustafson. You know what I mean? Gustafson one more time. You wouldn't be excited about that.
No, I wouldn't.
You telling me you wouldn't be excited about
you
that. You're lying, man.
I'm not.
You're lying. You know what I mean? The thing is, man.
I would be excited because he's going to test hot the next day for something.
That's the thing, man. You know,
he's going to.
Don't lie to yourself.
I'm not lying to myself.
Don't lie to yourself.
I'm not a liar.
Please don't do that. Hey, guys, we got MVP coming up here in this next seg. Stick around. Let's see what the MV is all about. And we still got some more tickets to give away. What's the number?
713-572-4610. That's 713-572-4610.
Stick around. Back in a minute. Welcome back to Heated Conversations right here on Sports Radio 610. I always wanted to do that little Billy Idol deal right there, you know. He always threw it out there. Yeah.
You know, they all had their signatures.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like Mike had his...
Now, the thing is, man, Billy Idol, man, still going strong today. Giving props, man. You know, still got abs and everything. Billy got to be, 60 years old?
Hey, man, he's still an idol.
Still looking good. You know what I mean? Got to give it up to the legends of the game. Man. Speaking of a legend of the game, got my man on the line, MVP Montel Vontavious Porter. MV, what's going on, dog?
Eyes without a face, such a human waste. Eyes without a face.
Yeah, that's music.
Good choice, man. Damn good choice.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you right now, Billy Idol, man, he was one of my guys back in the day, man, just because he's one of those guys that, you know, he carved his own niche. You know, he had his own flavor. He walked to the beat of his own drum. And like I say, still today going strong, just like the Eagles going to be here in
June,
in June in Minute Maid Park, and I can't wait, man, to go see some of those songs.
I might have to get
man.
on that, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big Joe Walsh fan.
Oh, man.
But it's funny going back to talking about Billy Idol. You know, he did say, man, he was dancing with himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I'll be dancing with myself. Yeah, man, we on the same page.
Yeah,
man.
man. Joe Walsh, man.
We are gentlemen of taste.
Yeah, most definitely. Speaking of Joe Walsh, man, people don't really understand how truly good this guy. The guy was a genius, man. Joe Walsh coming up. Go back and pull up some YouTube with Joe Walsh and watch him before he was with the Eagles. Just when he was on his own, man, the guy was bad musician, man. And then to hook up with Glenn Fry, man, those guys, unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought Joe Walsh was a huge addition to the Eagles, and one of my all-time favorite Joe Walsh songs, man. Just my Maserati does 185. I lost my license, now I don't drive because life has been good to me so far.
Yeah, man. That's what life is, man. Every day, man. Every day I get up, I say, man, I'm still here, man. It's a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm serious, man, because the thing is, when that don't happen, you ain't here. You gone. You know what I mean? So
I know, when you get as old as you are, when you wake up, you're surprised to still be here.
I am. You know what? Not that, man. I'm surprised, that I'm still here. But when I go and look in the mirror, I say, man, why do I still look so young?
You found the fountain of youth, man.
Hey, man, God's blessed me, man. God's blessed me. Hey, man, MVP is going to be making an appearance at Reality of Wrestling next week, guys, on Saturday, January 13th, right there at 10,000 Emmett Flowery Expressway. Booker T World Gym Arena is going down, 7 o'clock bell time. There's a lot of guys right now in Reality of Wrestling. Since they heard about the big news, you come in there, they've been calling you out. Rex Andrews, he sent out a tweet and said
he can make you tap.
Said he will make you tap. Gino,
yeah, well, I told him that there is only one way to find out.
Gino say, man, he will take you on a ride that you've never experienced before in your life. You know what I mean? That's what Gino said. I didn't say that.
I don't think Gino's ever been kicked in the face with by someone that has the velocity and the size 12 boot that I do. So,
hey, man, JJ Blake say, man, please come by so he can drop some dynamite on you. I'm just saying. That's what they say. I didn't say that. That's what these guys.
Tell them I said line it up because I'm going to make my debut at Booker T's World Gym Arena on the 13th. And everywhere I have ever been, I've made an impact. People know my name around the globe. I don't take anything lightly. This is my craft. This is my profession. And I know it's a lot of young lions that want to take over the pride, but I'm not ready to give it up yet.
Hey,
so,
man.
It was a while before Simba was ready to handle Scar, right?
Hey, guys, go to realitywrestling.com and get your tickets for that, as well as MVP is going to be doing an autograph signing starting at 4 p.m., guys. So make sure you get your tickets, get them quick, get them now. They're going to be going like hotcakes, especially after this last episode of Reality of Wrestling. Like I said, we got a huge show that's going to be coming on tomorrow on FITE TV, streaming at 2 o'clock, Christmas Chaos, the final episodes of Christmas Chaos. And I tell you, man, it was awesome episode, man. I tell you, man, Reality of Wrestling, MVP, we're doing big things, man, and you are a huge part of it. If you had to pick somebody out as far as, the Reality of Wrestling, stars, I don't call these guys superstars just yet. They will be superstars one day.
They're working on it. They got to pay their dues.
They got to pay their dues. But which one of the guys you want to take on a little ride, take a little spin, and show them the ropes?
Well, I've had the pleasure of being down at the World Gym Arena a number of times. I've sat on the sidelines with you and watched the shows, and I've seen the talent that you have nurtured.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of those guys when I first moved out here to Houston, when they were just pups,
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I've respected you. You're the reason that I live in Houston. You were always a mentor, and you helped groom me. And I see what you're doing for them. And you definitely have a talented roster. But, since Rex Andrews felt like he wanted to reach out to me on Twitter and say he bet he could make me tap, you know, I'd like to give him that opportunity if it's up to you. I
Wow.
mean, if well, it is up to you.
Oh, it is up
But
to
I
me.
mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
it
Oh,
is
yeah.
up
Oh,
to you.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
what I
yeah. It
mean.
is. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, you know, if Rex Andrews, you know, wants a shot, you know, because let's keep in mind, you know, I'm a multi-time champion, and I'm also a multi-time IBJJF Jiu-Jitsu champion, gold medal winner. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I've won the Houston Open a few times, Dallas Open, Austin Open. So you know, I find it hard to believe that somebody can just make me tap like that.
Wow.
And I appreciate Rex Andrews' confidence. I've seen him grow. I remember when he didn't even have any hair on his upper lip. I remember that. Now, you know, seeing like you know, he got some hair up under his arms now or something, you know, he's reaching big, but I respect that. And if you so decide, I would be more than happy to give Rex Andrews an opportunity to make me tap, or one of your other guys that lay down some dynamite or take me for a ride or whatever it is they think they can do. But as I said, it was a while before young Simba was ready to handle Scar.
Yeah, man.
I'm Scar deep.
You know, J.J. Blake, the Dynamite Adonis. He's looking. He's been on down with Spiral, but right now he's looking for a big win. Maybe I'll hook him up. Maybe he might be the guy.
Maybe.
You know, maybe he can get back on a winning streak if he can get a win over MVP. I don't know. I'm just saying, but I'm looking forward to some competition. What do you think about the young guys, man, and the new age of the business? First and foremost, you know, the independent scene is on fire right now. First and foremost, a lot of independent wrestlers out there doing their thing. Who do you think out there on, you know, that should be put on the map right now today on Heated Conversation?
Man, you know, there's a lot of guys out there that are really doing their thing, and you know, there's a big debate about the new generation and the new style and how they go about doing what they do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of some of this newer style stuff, but I do understand that things evolve. But as far as people that stick out to me, are you familiar with Jacob Fatu?
Jacob Fatu. No, I don't think I've seen him.
But you know that Fatu name.
Oh, the name is huge. Of course, I know the name.
Jacob Fatu is the son of Tonga Kid, and he looks like a smaller, more athletic, intense version of Umaga.
You know what? I talked to Tonga about this kid a few months back. He was looking to get a WWE tryout. He was supposed to be coming down to Reality Wrestling. I tell you what, I got to take a quick break. I got to take a quick break. We got a whole lot to talk about. Heated Conversation, guys. Stick around. We'll be back in 1 minute. What? That's my boy there. Welcome back to Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610. Got my man MVP on the line right now. We're chopping it up. It's going to be at Reality Wrestling next week. That's going to be January 13th. 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway, Booker T World Gym Arena. Right there at the Mall of Mainland. If you pass Top Golf, just go about another 2 miles. Get off and you be right there to the left-hand side.
Yeah, dog track is over there.
Yeah, you'll see my name on the building. You'll see it. It's a big neon lights, man. Booker
That's
T.
what we call humble brag. That's what that's called.
Hey, man, I've got to put myself over. Hey, MV, we talking about the up-and-comers, you know what I mean? Just talking about Fatu here for a second. What do you think about the this new era that we're living in? You know, these young guys, you know, they're taking over. You know, we even got the Bullet Club running around. Bullet Club even tried to take over WWE like the DX did back in the day. Yeah. Back in the day. What do you think about this new era of the young guys doing their thing, man?
Well, I really like the Bullet Club, and I like what they've done because, you know, a lot of people, and this makes me laugh, when I quit WWE to go fulfill my dream of wrestling in Japan, people called me stupid. They said I was crazy. Asked me, you know, what was I thinking to take that kind of a pay cut to go wrestle in China? Somebody said, I saw that video you wrestling with that Chinese dude. And all of those people wear Bullet Club shirts now. I'm really happy.
I was one of them. I was,
You were. You were. You were, man, those long bus rides. Man, you really want to do that, man? Like,
we talked about that. You know,
did.
I say, man, taking those rides at, you know, at 20 is a lot different than taking them at 30, man. You know, it's rough, you know, going, you know,
But
from
see,
town to
but that
town.
was the thing for me. My dream was to wrestle in Japan. My goal was to wrestle in WWE. So, you know, my career went in reverse. I wished I had gone to Japan when I was younger and then worked my way in WWE, but it went the other way around. I was able to make a name for myself in WWE, and then I left to go fulfill my dream of wrestling in Japan. But I was able to see a lot of these young guys who, you know, independently have made a name for themselves. And there's a lot of fresh young talent out there that's coming up and are making waves. And one of the cool things that I like right now, professional wrestling is so popular globally that, I mean, it's not, we don't necessarily have the territory system like we used to, but with YouTube and social media and Snapchat and Instagram, you can make a name for yourself now and make a living as a professional wrestler without ever having to wrestle for WWE.
What about
now, you ain't going to get rich, but you'll make a living.
What about the wrestling style that they work today? You know, like, you know, just going out and just giving away stuff and not really thinking about the, you know, for me, it was always about the story. It was always, but you know, the move was very important and what I went out and did, but the story was even more important. You know, I haven't heard, I can't remember the last time I've heard a fan say, you know, just say, for instance, when I wrestled, the fans went, you know, Booker T. I can't remember the last time I've heard a fan say the guy's name. Only thing they say now is, this is awesome, because guys going out there and just jumping on their head and they have no investment in the characters anymore. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm with you in that I came up the old school way. I was brought into the business and trained with an old school mentality. And one of my favorite lessons ever was from The Undertaker, and he said, what we do is tell stories, and the moves are just the illustrations. And if you open up a comic book and it's just, you know, zing, pop, pow, bam, explosions with no storyline and no order, it doesn't make any sense. And it's, you know, the art might be cool, and, you know, you might see the guys with muscles and guns or whatever, but there's no story to it. So I'm with you on that. However, we also have to look at everything evolves. And when you and I were growing up, we used to watch Nick and Heath Barkley have barroom brawls, and, you know, they'd block a punch and punch the guy in the jaw. And then that gave way to Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and that fight choreography was a little different. And then came Van Damme and Steven Seagal, and all of a sudden fight choreography kind of changed again. And then The Matrix hit, and that changed choreography forever. Every movie you see now, the fight choreography is different. Now you got Matt Damon and Jason Bourne doing, you know, this martial arts, and Keanu Reeves with John Wick and Jason Statham. You know, the fight choreography has evolved, and the game has changed completely. And wrestling is no different. Now you see these guys that are having these kung fu movie type matches, and the guys from our generation would say, well, you know, there's no emotional investment, because, you know, these guys aren't selling, and, you know, they're not showing the damage. But, man, I've watched kung fu movies where dudes get stabbed with a sword and shot with 17 arrows and still fight and kill, you know. So it's all in how you perceive the product and how you perceive the evolution. I personally don't care for it, but I can see why people like we'll use the Young Bucks, for example. Man, they're a global brand. They got shirts in Hot Topic. I've been on shows with them where they got the longest line out the door for photo ops. I'm not a fan of the style, but people are buying tickets to see that.
You know, I'm not saying that it's not a place for you know, what these guys do or anything like that, but, you know, you use the movie Neo. The Matrix as an example, and you know, I say Neo was the ultimate babyface. You know, Neo was the the ultimate baby. He went out there and sold when he needed to sell. You know, he knew how to make a great comeback. You know what I mean? You know, at certain times, you know, it was a fight or flight mentality for him. You know, he needed to, bail on the situation. You know what I mean? But it still went back to stories. You know what I mean?
Because you knew his motivations as a character.
Exactly. Yeah. I had some investment in it. You know, I actually, these guys, you know, they're great at what they do. A lot of these young guys, they go out and they do, they defy gravity. They do things that
I think the young generation is more athletic in that kind of sense than the old school.
They do things that I wish I could have gone out there and do. I watched a 6-minute and 33-second highlight of a match. 6 minutes and 33 seconds of it was just highlights, and it was Ricochet versus Sami Callihan, and it was some of the most awesome stuff that I ever seen in my life. You know, but to give away certain things just for the crowd to go, this is awesome. I don't believe in that. I do understand that these guys got to make money, and a lot of times they work in different territories on a weekly, nightly basis. They're in a different city or a different town. Those shows aren't branded like a WWE. These guys would not be able to go to WWE and do the stuff they do on the independent circuit. I look at Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. These guys have created a whole, feel around themselves as far as wrestling go on the independent circuit. They love them, you know what I mean? But just like I told you, MVP, some years ago when you was talking about going to Japan, and I say, man, going there at 35 is so totally different than going there at 25. I look at Nick and Matt Jackson, and these guys have created a brand for themselves, and they're 32 years old right now. In 8 years, they're going to be 40 years old, and the Young Bucks is going to be a whole lot different going into these independent shows. And to be the 40-year-old, the oldest guy in the locker room on the independent show, I just hope that these guys capitalize off of what their in ring has got them. But I say that stuff that they've done out of ring will definitely hurt them, just because my mother always said something, she always told me, if you ain't got something good to say about somebody, you don't say nothing at all. And these guys are really, really outspoken, and that same road you go up, it's that same road you go down. They've created something awesome, but I just do think that time, waits for no man.
Well, there's definitely and it's funny you say that, because I clearly remember when I was the young guy in the locker room.
I do too.
And I'd look around and I'd see the old veterans. Man, you remember back then?
Yeah, man, I remember that.
But I see now, when I'm looking around the locker room, the evolution of our business of pro wrestling. You see less professional wrestlers that look like grown men. I see a lot of young dudes that look like kids.
They look like Young Bucks.
Yeah, they look like Young Bucks. And I guess in some ways this evolution is good. In some ways it's bad. When you and I were coming up, the locker room was full of beer and pills and drugs.
Yeah.
And nowadays the locker room is full of Japanese anime and video games and protein shakes.
Yeah.
So I guess with the good comes the bad, and with the bad, you can find some good. And when you use the Young Bucks as an example, talking about the cumulative damage that this business takes on your body, I just hope for their sake that they're smart enough to evolve and adapt, because you look at Rey Mysterio, what he used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And what he can do now. He could still do some amazing things, but he can't do what he used to do.
Oh, yeah.
But he's evolved, and he's gotten much better at making the things that he still can do mean that much more. And maybe at some point, that's a lesson the Young Bucks will learn, because, like you said, time waits for no man, but, life is also a very harsh teacher.
Yes, indeed it is, man. It's very, very hard. Hey, man, that's life, man. That's what life's all about, man. These young guys are going to have to figure that out on their own as they go. It's a journey, man. The journey never stops to the end, man. And when that happened, you don't even see it coming, baby. It's all over. Hey, man, next week,
man.
Well,
let me hit you with this real quick.
Go ahead.
The Great Malenko had a very good friend of mine, the Blackheart, Dave Johnson. He just died a few weeks ago, and he was trained by the Malenkos. And he hit me with a gem that the Great Malenko used to say, And I think this applies to not just pro wrestling, but to everything. And there's no jewel at the end of the journey. The journey is the jewel.
That is. You ain't lying about that, man. That's my man, MVP, right there, dropping some knowledge on y'all. If y'all want to see him next week, January 13th, Booker T World Gym Arena. Come check him out. Reality of Wrestling's going down. Tickets on sale right now. He's going to be doing an autograph signing starting at 4 o'clock. Get your tickets now, guys. Go to realityofwrestling.com. Do it. Do it now. I do it for you. Hey, MV, I appreciate you, dog.
Hey, man, and I just hope your students appreciate me as I bring with me lessons of humility.
Hey, man, do what you do, bro.
You know I will.
I'll see you in a minute.
Ballin'.
Holla back. Hey, man. Tito.
Talk about
Jermaine.
it. Who else?
Jackie.
Uh-huh.
Marlon. Michael. That they are right there, baby. Destiny. Yeah. Welcome back to Heated Conversation, y'all. We're getting ready to wrap this thing up. We're getting close. Every time you hear this right here, you know we on the last leg right here, man. Go back and pull that Destiny video up. It'll make you feel a certain way, man. All the gold and the glitter and the gold dust flying around. Man, I miss Mike. Hey, man, what do you think about you young, Bradley, you young guy, what do you think about the independent world and the young guys and the way they go out and perform these days? I mean, I don't know, me personally, we got to read that tweet off again.
Yeah, we got a text on the text line.
Read the text off. I want you guys out there to hear, because I don't want you guys to think first and foremost I'm some old guy who don't understand or anything like that. My thing is this. I got an independent wrestling company myself. I'm the oldest guy on my crew. My young guys pretty much, we collaborate and figure out which way we want to make the show as best we possibly can make it. And my thing is, I use my young minds to come up with a lot of the ideas. If I didn't, I would just be a stupid person. I'd just be a person that just didn't realize what I had in front of me, which is the youth of today is the future of tomorrow. I honestly, truly believe that. Read that text.
So this was from the text line. It said, Booker, totally agree with you in MVP, but it may just be you showing your age. There's a lot of young bucks out there listening. I'll get off your lawn, Grandpa.
Okay, how can you agree with me and say something like that?
Something like that.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It seemed like I was making a valid point, but you choose to choose sides and go with the young side opposed to the side that sounds more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
That comment right there tells me a whole lot.
Yeah, but for me, and I agree with what you and MVP are saying. Now, I'm 25 years old, just turned 25. I'm in that demographic to where the young bucks and that style is supposed to be appealing to me, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all. And it might be sitting under your learning tree and knowing what makes a great wrestling match. But to me, it's all fluff. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I had popcorn for every meal of the day.
Hey, man.
Hey, I like popcorn.
Popcorn's good.
But it's not nutritious.
Yeah.
It doesn't give my body anything. Yeah. And that's what these guys do. And this is just my opinion. I can appreciate it, right? I can appreciate a bucket of popcorn every now and then.
Hey, man.
But I don't want to, I mean, for me, the flippity stuff, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't do anything. And it's like, and we were talking for a second, it's like a situational comedy with all one-liners, where there's no setup, there's no story, there's nothing that pays off. Seinfeld was a great sitcom because of the stories, not because of the jokes.
I look at it a little bit different than that. I really do. When I look at guys like the Young Bucks, they go out and they do their stuff. It's good for the audience that they're catering to. A lot of the fans love it. Me personally, I respect that.
And I think they're great businessmen.
No, they've marketed themselves and they've done a great job. Should they ever want to be in WWE? That's beside the point. These guys have created something, as well as a lot of these other guys out there. I was just talking about Sammy Callahan. He's a guy that came through WWE.
Yeah, he was there for a minute.
He was there for a minute.
In NXT.
Exactly. And it didn't work out for him. He went back out there and he continued to do his stuff. But me personally, I don't hear Sami Callihan complain about WWE or anything like that. He's out there doing his work. Guys like Ricochet. I think a guy like Ricochet could be in a WWE in a heartbeat. I think they'll pick him up and sign him today. Will he be able to go out there and do a lot of the stuff that he does on the independent circuit, on the independent scene? No, he won't. But will he be a international, worldwide superstar overnight? Of course he will, because the guy is definitely phenomenal. You talk about AJ Styles. Ricochet could pretty much go. Because Ricochet, he's younger, he's faster, he's mobile, he's quicker. And the thing is, I would love to see a guy like him in a WWE. But for him to be out there on the independent scene doing his thing, hey man, do your stuff, man. My thing, like I say again, if my mother said, and you could think I'm old or not, if you ain't got something good to say about somebody, you don't say nothing at all, man. Because burning bridges in this business has been something that a lot of guys have done. You know what I mean? Burn bridges for no reason. And a lot of those guys are not in such a good place right now. And that's the thing right there.
I can appreciate what the Young Bucks have created, and I can appreciate them as businessmen. Like MVP said, they have shirts in Hot Topic, and that's all fine, well, and good. But, it's just like some people didn't like Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
some people didn't like Prince.
Yeah.
Some people don't like Frank Sinatra or Elvis. There are people who are great names and made great careers for themselves that not everybody likes, right? And for me, the Young Bucks match-wise, it's not something that does anything for me.
Well,
I don't like it.
The thing is, it may not do anything for me either, but it's a lot of people out there that show up in flocks to see the Young Bucks. Like I say, those guys have created an aura around themselves that's like I've never seen before, especially guys that have never, stepped inside of a WWE ring. I give them a whole lot of credit. But like I say, my thing is, I've had my issues with the Young Bucks, and it all stemmed around the issue. Something as simple as they had a WWE tryout. I don't know if they was having a tryout or not, but I had a jacket and it was laying on a piece of the equipment, and they were actually leaning on the equipment, which they were leaning on my jacket. And I went by them and I said, hey man, it's my jacket right there. And I grabbed my jacket, and I walked off, you know what I mean? And they didn't introduce themselves. I didn't introduce myself. And it's customary normally when someone
if it's a tryout guy or a young guy.
No. Normally it's customary if a guy is coming from outside, they introduce themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It could have been I could have introduced myself, but I didn't know who they were, and not dissing them or anything like that. I didn't know who they were. Me being Booker T, 6-time world champion, a guy that's been in WWE for 15 years, seemed like you would have known who that was, and it got blown up. You know what I mean? The internet picked it up. Everybody made a big issue about it. The Young Bucks and I, we actually was at an independent show. And we,
took a picture shaking hands,
right?
Exactly,
with both of them, because I'm all about the young guys coming up and doing their thing. I'm all about the young guys getting their paper, man, going out there and making as much money as they possibly can. I'm all about the young guys, carving their own niche in this game of life. First and foremost, I don't want anyone out there to think that I look down upon these young guys for going out there and doing their thing. I just talk about how the way the business is today compared to the way it was yesterday. Do I think my era is better than the era before me? Do I think my era is better than this era? I'm not one that think like that. I really don't. You know what I mean? That's not up for me to say. That's up for the fan to say what era that they like the best. And normally, you're going to like the era that you're in normally the most, even though the Attitude Era got a bunch of kids still, want to be like it. Even the Young Bucks, you know what I mean, want to still be like,
how I got into wrestling was from that era.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So
98.
Give it up to the young guys out there doing their thing. First and foremost, I want to see all the independent wrestlers as well as all the young guys getting in this business get their paper, baby. That's what it's all about. Hey, man, we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. Eddie Ed, man, I appreciate you hooking this thing up. We're gonna be doing this thing live. We're filming this stuff now. We're gonna be putting it up on FITE TV here soon. Thank my man Brad Gilmore for sticking around on a weekly basis. This is what we do. Do it like it's supposed to be done. Making them bow down. Making them pay my son. Making them say,
Daddy, I don't want none.
I had enough. Hey, guys, Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. We're going to be here next week. Same place, same time. 1 to 3, man. I like this time. This is a good time right here. Do it. Tune in, guys. Do it. I'll do it for you. Again, thank my guys. Thank the listeners. I even want to thank the haters because we're going to do it, man. We're doing it our way. And I'll see y'all next week.